Hello, everyone. I know I'm on the couch again, and I was like, I'm not gonna do couch. Whatever. Well, I already had this set up because I've been playing The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and obviously no spoilers on that, but it's been very good so far. But it's time for another Chaos Book Review Hour, and this is actually the last Discworld book that I have on the shelf. I really need to go on Wikipedia and just look up like the order of all of them and like make a list of all the ones that I've read and all the ones that I need to read, and look at like secondhand shops or other places for bolstering things. Although I'm probably going to take, I have a pile of books next to me. I'm probably going to take those in and donate them, because I don't know if I'm going to really like. I like reading books, but I probably wouldn't reread a book too often, and I could also probably just get it on digital media to make it a little easier. Like, I like physical books, don't get me wrong. Kind of like I like physical games, but I also like having space in my place. And I don't really have I only don't have much shelf space, so like I have a lot of manga, but it's all inside my closet because I have no room. Anyway, that's not what you guys came here for. You came here for a book review, and that's what you're gonna get. And the book we're reviewing today is Terry Pratchett's Moving Pictures. This one happens. This is actually an older one. Which is funny because the book itself, this is one of the newer publications, so it looks like new. But Moving Pictures actually happened before Reaper Man, and it introduces a key character who is Mustrum Ridcully, the Arch Chancellor of the University of Wizards. And I was like, oh man, it's so great reading these books and getting more like kind of origin stories of these people. Because, I've read a lot of the books after this, and I just kind of assumed that he was the Arch Chancellor the entire time. Granted, it's been a really long time since I read the Rincewind books, so I can't remember who the Arch Chancellor was then, because that was like the very beginning of Discworld stuff. But it was really nice, like, seeing more of that character too, because you see snippets of him in other books and all that, but having more in-depth background and all that was cool. Like, the character building throughout the Discworld is amazing because it focuses on various characters, and you usually get a little bit more backstory on some of them, or it might focus. Like another character, Wendell Poons, is in this book, and he's alive because if you've seen spoilers, I mean, he dies at the very beginning of Reaper Man. Yeah, it is Reaper Man, isn't it? Yeah. God, I gotta remember that there's a few different storylines going on in that book. But yeah, it's crazy because you're like, oh man, like these characters, all of their different interactions and all that. It's really great seeing them before like you really knew much about them. Because I just assumed that he was in that book, but he's prominent in this book. And you have another new character, Victor Tugelbend, who's a wizard who's very much not like a wizard because he's very fit and doesn't actually want to be a wizard. But I really like this book. Obviously, it's called Moving Pictures because it's basically talking about like movies and stuff in the Discworld. And I always love the parallels of the Discworld to the real world because it's a fantasy world, but you can see where things connect or how things happen and in that are similar to things in the or just like the way that they affect people in the Discworld, and you're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense because this is actually what happens in these situations or in these things. Because they go to a place called Holywood, which I'm sure you can figure out what Holywood is supposed to be adjacent to in the real world, having to do with movies. That you meet more characters. Also, origin story of another character, although I'm not sure if he shows up in a previous book. One of my favorite characters from The Watch, aside from, well, all of the characters in The Watch are quite good, but I'd have to say one of my favorite characters is Detritus, the troll, because I just think he's an amazing character just because his 90% of his character is him just being very large and very strong and not saying a whole lot. But you get more of him in this book, and that made me like. That's the thing is God, the Discworld books really pull you in because you don't really know what you're getting into going into it, other than like the characters you meet at the beginning, and then you see how it weaves like the world together, and you see other characters that you know and love, and you're like, oh, now I get to learn more about this. It's really, really good. This book, quite good. I really enjoyed the characters here too. Their reactions to situations, the way that like the mystic parts kind of worked into the other parts. It went a little bit more off of belief again. Like if you've seen my review on Small Gods, the way that Pratchett teaches, I shouldn't say teaches, but the way that belief works in the Discworld is a lot of people think that gods exist because they just exist and then we believe in them. In Pratchett's world, gods exist because we believe in them, because the idea of them was made and enough people, because if you think about it, words and thoughts are magic, because if enough people believe something, then it becomes real. Like, unfortunately, that also involves conspiracy theories and stuff, because obviously there's a lot of real world bullshit that's going on, because people will believe a lot of things that people say without any kind of research, but we won't worry about that. But that plays a part in this as well, and I thought it was very well put together, had a lot of lovable characters from the Discworld that we know, and a bit more backstory and other stuff, and just very good. So yeah, like I said, I say this every time, if you're a fan of Pratchett, you're going to be a fan of this book. You'll learn more about other characters that you may not have known about, or you may have known about, but not known like more of their origins or other things they did. And yeah, so I'd say give Moving Pictures a try. Definitely a good fantasy book, and just book overall. Thank you once again for coming to another Chaos Book Review Hour. The next book is definitely not going to be Discworld, partially because I don't have any more on the shelf, so I might as well start on some of the other stuff that I have. Until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.